Hey guys, today I have a flip through and a review for you of the Good and the Beautiful's Mammals Science Unit. This one right here, which I recently completed with 2 of my children. If you're not familiar with the Good and the Beautiful, they are a non-denominational Christian curriculum company based out of the United States. I recently completed this curriculum with my children in grade 3 and grade 6, doing it together. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you the different components, and I'll come back here and share my thoughts on it. Here is the course book. So it's recommended for grades 3 through 8, and they have student journals I'll show you here in a minute for either grade 3 to 6 or for grade 7 to 8. And then they also do sell for younger children an activity book from like K through grade 2 that you can use along with this to make it more of a family focused science. This is one that I printed myself from the PDF, so the colors from my printer are not as vibrant as if you were to buy it directly from the company. So when you look at here, there's a table of contents. So there are 14 units or lessons. There's Introduction to Mammals, Live Birth and Lactation, Odd-toed ungulates, Even-toed ungulates, Elephants, Primates, Felines, Canines, Monotremes, Marsupials, Bats, Rodents, Bears, and then Endangered Animals. Now in terms of the whole course book, you're going to start with unit information, information about the read aloud pack, correlated books and field trip ideas, information about the lesson extensions for grades 7 to 8, supplies needed, and vocabulary. So for the unit information, it's going over about the science journal, which here's what these look like. And I'll go through those after this book. About having a science wall, lesson preparation activities, unit videos. There are a couple of videos on their website or through their app which go along with this unit. The information for the older, younger, worldview versions. And then here they have, this is their recommended book pack. The only book of these that I have is this one here, Mammals of the Small Pond. I did not buy the other 2 books. It says correlated books, field trip ideas, and then it talks about the extension for grades 7 through 8, how it works, flexibility, answer key, taking notes. And then it mentions this book here, which is Prairie Town. It is a level 7. It's quite short. That goes along with the extensions. Now I should show you the inside. This one, this is also a short one. This is a level 4. So this is more for young children. There's colored pictures. You can kind of see what that looks like. Supplies needed, it breaks it down by lesson, which supplies you're going to need. More supplies, and then going on to the vocabulary. So there's a couple pages of vocabulary, there's quite a few. And then you get into an actual lesson. So all of the lessons, and I'll flip through here in a minute, are kind of set up the same way. They start with this top part here, which talks about the objective, any preparation that you need to do, and a reminder of activity supplies you need to do. So it tells you in these different sections what you need. So here there's an art thing they're going to look at. They're going to watch the Mammals video. They're going to talk about this. There's the science word, characteristics, and there's more words. And it breaks it down into sections so you can figure out how many sections you need to do a day in order to complete it when you want to. And it ends here with the map that you're going to have the children write on. Or I believe it says stickers. So I guess if you purchase the course book, you get stickers. And then the extension. Here's some of the activities. Here's what the extension looks like. So it's typically 1 page. I think there's only one that's 2 pages. And that's it. And then you're on to the next one. And let me see if I can find something with answers so you can see the answers. They're usually right before the next lesson. So here's an example. This is the answer key to a page that the kids have in their journals. Just do a quick flip through for you. So it is 69 pages, double-sided. Some are left blank for you to cut things out on the other side. But this is what it looks like. So then for the books that go with them, so here are the student journals. So this is the 3 to 6, this is the 7 to 8. Yes, my son does his J's backwards on purpose. That's what he likes to do. A lot of the pages are the same. It's only some very slight differences. So let's see. So maybe I'll show you the 3 to 6 and kind of show you. So here's one example. So here they have it already written and they just need to color it. Here, they're actually writing notes about the different parts. Here's an example, the exact same page in the extension. Here's some of, and then to this page. So the 7 to 8 has more pages and it has more writing in it. Let's see. So they had puzzle, daughter's drawings, non-school related. Let's see, catch up here, ferocious felines. So you can see most of the pages are pretty similar. I have my daughter, you know, she's doing the extension, she's doing extra notes, but those pages are the same. Oh, that one, some of it's come out. They had to create their own unique animals from different parts. It's pretty funny. So here's another example. Unfortunately, hers is ripped, but they have here for him information, and here she needs to fill out the information. So I'll flip through the rest of the 7 to 8 one so you can see really not that much difference, which I'll talk a bit about why I had her use that book. And then here is the map at the very end. They talk about adding the stickers on, which obviously when we did the PDF, we didn't have stickers, so the kids just wrote the animals, but it's the exact same map. If you follow me, then you know that back when I shared what curriculum we were going to use this year, I explained that I was going to use this curriculum a little bit differently than how it was intended. So The Good and the Beautiful recommends 3 to 4 science units per year, and I decided to just do this single unit, but to add things in because we have been using other curriculum and I was trying to find something that was going to cover animals but would fit our needs. And I felt like this was kind of the best solution, was to use this as the base, but then to add some other things in. So we didn't use it exactly as intended, but we did use it enough and as a base that I feel like I can give you an honest review on it. So overall, it was good. You know, I prefer doing year-long studies than unit studies. So I feel like there could have been a lot more in-depth information just personally. If you wanted to just kind of taste each little unit on different topics throughout the year, then I think there's enough. But for the way I used it, even though I was adding things in, I felt like there still just wasn't quite enough. In terms of those student journals, so like I said, my kids were grade 3 and grade 6. But when I looked at the grade 3 through 6 book, the student journal, I didn't feel it was challenging enough or kind of up to the level my daughter was at. And so I had her use the 7 to 8 book, even though she's only in grade 6. I just felt like it was kind of too immature for her, but that's why I guess there's different levels, so you can pick and choose and make it work for you. So the one thing we did not do, let me look here, was unit number 11, which is on bats. Because we learned last year a lot about bats and spent quite a bit of time on it, I decided to skip that. So we did 13 of the units. I added things in. So one of the things I added in was read alouds. Some of these were geared towards more of my older children because we do read alouds together, but I thought I would still share them with you. So the first book we did was the one that they had recommended, Mammals of the Small Pond. Great book, highly recommend it. It goes through a pond through each season, like 1 year, and kind of some different changes. It was a great book. Then we read Black Beauty. This one was not as good as I kind of had hoped it would be, but it was still interesting, more for older children. Then we listened to The Yearling, which I feel like is definitely for kind of high school, older children. The next one was Tiger Boy. It's more of a modern and conservation type story. It was pretty good. Then we did this book here, The Burgess Animal Book for Children by Thornton W. Burgess. This is on the Good and the Beautiful's like recommended reading list, like that huge book list that they have. And it's a level 5 is what they rank it as. It was a very good book. I'll give you a quick look inside. It's a living book, and so the animals in this story, like you're learning about them, but in a very story-like manner. So I think, oh, and we had tons of library books. Like every unit, I would take out a whole bunch of library books that went along, sometimes as many as like 15 or 20 with each unit. So we used a lot of extra literature, but I wanted to say that these 2 books here were definitely the ones I would recommend doing along with this unit. They were definitely the best 2 books. Highly recommend those 2. Now, the other one that they recommended, Prairie Town, my daughter had previously read, and I thought, well, maybe I'll sneak it back into our read alouds, and I just ended up not having time along with all the other read alouds we were doing. But I think it is a worthwhile book as well because you're learning a lot of facts, but in more of a story form. Then we added in movies. So I have my little list here. We did Bill Nye, Mammals, Giraffes, Africa's Gentle Giants, A Sloth Named Velcro, Weirdest Animals You've Never Heard of, Leave It to Beavers. Oh, we did Armadillo Hotel as well. And then Disney Bears. And I think some were better than others. My definite favorite was, Disney Bears is pretty great. Leave It to Beavers was really interesting and so educational. I learned a lot in that. And then Giraffes, Africa's Gentle Giants. Those were kind of the top 3 that I would say out of those videos. We also added in art because I wanted to include art. I felt a little bit behind, and so especially since, since Christmas, we kind of skipped some art. I had planned, I think 10 art projects, 10 or 11, and we ended up doing, I think it was only 6. So I'll include some pictures here for you to see what they look like while we're talking. I tried to specifically choose different mediums. So we did like watercolor, alcohol markers, pastels, cutting out, acrylics. Yeah, maybe we only did 5 projects in the end. We definitely didn't do as many as I'd hoped. But the kids were such great sports. Some of these were difficult, even for me to do, and they did a fantastic job with the art. Then I just wanted to talk a little bit about the cost. So The Good and the Beautiful, being an American company, they offer both the physical copies and they offer PDFs. So for the physical, for like the course book, it's $20. And then for the student journal, the 3 to 8 one is $6.50, and the 7 to 8 is $7. Now they also have an activity book that I mentioned for kindergarten through grade 2, and they sell those for $6.50. So those are all American prices. The PDF, $20 for the course book, and all the other student journals are $10. Because I live in Canada, shipping is very, very expensive from them to Canada. So I purchased the PDF. So I paid a little bit more for the actual, like the student journals. However, I saved a lot on shipping. So it is a pretty affordable curriculum when you look at it comparative to other science curriculums. But if you're going to be doing like 4 a year, it is a little bit more on the pricey side. Oh, also the read aloud pack is extra, and of course any books you buy from them are extra as well. So how did we like the course overall? I feel like I've kind of answered that I think if you're using it in a uniform, good. Okay, if you're using it like I did, you need to add a lot more in. Overall, I like The Good and the Beautiful. I like a number of their products. We've used a number of their curriculum over the years. Their science is not my favorite though. I would prefer to use something else, just me personally, but it's still a really good curriculum, and I like how you can use it for all different ages, at least up to the high school years. If I missed anything or if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section down below. I try to answer all the questions that I get, but hopefully this has given you a good overview of the curriculum, an idea of how to kind of customize it for you and to make it work for you, and the information you need to decide if this is the right one for you and your family to use. I hope that this finds you having a great day. Take care.